what I noticed about Seattle was that we weren't siloed out where there was a philanthropic community and a civic community and a business community, but all of those things are flowing back and forth, and WAVE is a great way to put it. So what does that mean? What is Philanthropy Seattle style, do you think, Phyllis?
Well, first of all, I would like to say before I answer the question, what a privilege it is to have served between these two icons, literally. And I know when I took over from Ann at the annual meeting, I think it might have been several years ago, I said, I've got very big shoes to fill, but luckily they're fashionable shoes.
Those are great shoes.
I'm looking at these shoes and I'm thinking, I need those shoes.
If you're going to fill shoes, those are the ones.
Those are it. But I mean, literally, it is a privilege. And I think to get to your question, first of all, the thing that's a constant, and it really is indicative of the types of leadership, including the whole team at the Seattle Foundation, the thing that's the constant with this community, in my view, that makes it so special is, first of all, there are many things that don't change. I mean, Ann, you talked about the things that have changed, and I agree with every one of the points. I think the things that have been constant about this region are that, compared to all the other communities that I travel to around the world, we have this sense of shared ownership for the place that we call home and the place that we work. And I think that's unique. So I think there is that sense of passion for place and a real sense of appreciation of stewardship, that if we're going to have a great place for future generations, for John's grandchildren, and we've got to work at this, and there is this kind of common sense of a legacy. So I would say that's one common thing. I think the other thing that I think is really special about Seattle here is that we have infused with, and you've got it, some of it, Ann, with kind of a sense of philanthropy, this entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. So we've got a lot of entrepreneurs in the room that we all know. We've got a number of folks that are younger in the technology field and so on. It's this sense of we've got to do things differently, and we've got to reinvent and maybe think of different ways of getting to these impact things you're talking about, Ann. And I think that's unique. We see it in Silicon Valley now as well, but I really like the energy and the ideas and the fact that if you mine all the donors' best ideas, which the Seattle Foundation does, you come up with a lot of great solutions and answers to some of the problems that, have been around a long time. So I think the one other thing I would mention, in addition to Ann's comments, and it kind of moves over into then my tenure after following in Ann's big shoes to fill.
Those great shoes.
The great stylish
not
big
shoes.
Big, not big shoes. Sorry.
Capable shoes.
Capable, stylish shoes. I really want to, what I kept hearing, and it does go along the line of, I guess, maybe the waves and the changes in the themes, were much more about strategy. Strategic thinking about the big picture things. And again, credit to the Seattle Foundation team. Many are standing in the back. There was a healthy community framework that was put together during the years I was there, which really basically framed out what difference are we trying to make here? And how do we know, and how are all the pieces of education, arts, the environment, economy, how are they all linked? And this healthy community framework, which is very well talked about in the current Seattle Foundation annual report, is, I think the framework that many people were asking for is, how do we kind of put this together as a community and think of this as sort of a community strategic plan, if you will, but how does it all link? So I might have an interest in the environment, but how does that link to environmental education? And I do think this healthy community report, Norm, you can comment, has really served the Seattle Foundation and the community well, because it's part of how we think and who we are.